Hey guys, welcome back to the Full Co. Today I'm going to be looking at the Tottenham versus Qarabag Europa League game last night. One of those where I've seen some of the highlights back, obviously being at the game. So my view of it, as ever, when you're watching the game live, it doesn't allow you to see lots of replays and kind of really look into the game in detail. But I've had a little look at the replays this morning. And so I'm going to have a little look at it. Coming away from the game, which sadly I had to leave early from because of the delay and because I took my little one and we needed to be back. That is a situation where I am thinking about, kind of most of the game live, and then the ending of the game is the bit that I've seen back in detail. But the overall feeling from the game when you come away from it was net positive, net glass half full, which I think I've been saying a lot recently, which is good. We're certainly not flying, we're certainly not asking ourselves the question, could we? But I think if you look at it in the whole, coming away, going down to 10 men, coming away with a clean sheet, 3-goal victory, taking those first 3 points, getting a home game out of the way against a team which I think is very easy to underestimate, but actually they were quite technically sound. They lacked a bit of quality in the final third, but they were very impressive in terms of their pressing and their pressure. They're clearly a very fit side, and actually I thought their pressing was very good and very coordinated. So when they went, it wasn't disjointed. They really did go in groups and units that seemed to work quite well. There were times we did really well with it. There were times we didn't do so well with it. So they were good, and they played on the counter-attack as well, which you might expect of a team coming to Tottenham anyway. So they were a good team, shouldn't be underestimated, and coming out, victory, 3 points, 3 goals and a clean sheet. That's good. So those are really, really positives. And kind of staying with the positives, I want to talk about our press as well. I thought, once again, similar to what we've seen in the last couple of games, our press was really successful last night, leading directly to goals and important actions for us. So I'm really, really happy with the way that seems to be developing. Now, there are two sides to it. It's working really well and we're having success with it, which is great. But one of the things that we do need to kind of get to is, will we at any point have a largely fully fit squad? And we didn't help ourselves tonight. We shot ourselves in the foot with another player who's going to be missing now. But we are in a situation where we have got some injury worries already early this season. And a lot of our first team players are having to play potentially more minutes than you'd want them to because of injuries and suspensions now. And so you just wonder if you're going to get to that point in the season where you can kind of get as many players as possible fully fit. So you've got a full squad, all the selection headaches that comes with, and then being able to really rotate people in to keep that intensity of the pressing up. If we do get to that, I think we could be on for a really good season. I think it will also massively help us defensively. So that high press and that pressing game is 100% the first line of defence for this system and for the way that I think Ange wants to play. So you can talk about how we are defensively, and we've got plenty of work to do on that, but actually not just the chance creation or scoring goals, it's that press as well, which is so vital to the way that you defend and how you dominate games and how you control tempo and possession, and you can manage periods of the game as well. So if we can get all our players back, as many of them not suspended and as many of them not injured, then we'll be able to do that even better. Solanke deserves a shout out because he's absolutely brilliant at it. Clearly, that's what they said about bringing him in. That was one of the key aspects of his game, and potentially what set him apart from somebody like Ivan Toney. But yeah, he's fantastic at it, and you can see that from the first goal that we scored. So that's really, really good. I really hope that we do get into that situation where we've got lots and lots of players available. Everybody's as fit as you can be at whatever point that might be in the season, and then I think that pressing game will continue to improve, and we're going to be a really, really hard team for anybody to play against if we get that right. And so far this week we've done it really well, and we've scored several goals off the back of it. So that again is a really positive aspect of last night's performance. On the flip side of it, if you kind of take the game chronologically, Radu has not done us any favours. He's not done himself any favours, and particularly he needs to be heading out and buying Beribal dinner, or potentially, many dinners, because he's let himself down. He's let the team down. It was a little bit symptomatic of the way that we were in the first half, actually, that we excuse me, we looked a bit casual. And it almost looked to me like a team that was trying to pretend or to give the impression that they were fully in control, like being very kind of solid on the ball and saying to the opposition, we're not concerned by you. But what that actually did, because it wasn't real, it was a bit false, is we very often conceded possession. And Radu, I think, was an example of that. Archie Gray did it a bit as well, particularly in the first half. When Radu sees the striker put the accelerator on, because actually it comes from a phase of play where the ball goes through Dragushin a couple of times. If you see the striker put on the afterburners, he's coming at you, then that dictates how you're going to act. He didn't. He let the ball run across him without taking a touch, and because the striker's got all the momentum and he's already built up a head of steam, he's able to get in there, get his leg in front, poke the ball away, and then Radu's got absolutely no choice. Realistically, he could let him run on, but obviously it would have been a very good chance of 1v1, and so he decides to bring him down. Absolutely right in terms of a red card, no issues with that whatsoever. Just really poor play. Sloppy, I think, is the word probably used for that, and so easily avoidable. This wasn't a time where they were really throwing a high press at us and we were having to play around it. This was a very simple ball. He just didn't take charge of it, didn't take a touch, didn't move it quickly, and didn't respond to the cue of the striker who was coming after him. So yeah, he's paid the price, we've paid the price. Again, no rotation minutes in there at centre half. Kuti straight back in. Does it also have a knock-on effect in terms of not being able to rest Mickey at times, because Ben Davies is gonna potentially have to play more minutes? It's one of those things. It affects us in more than just this game. It's going to affect us for the matches that he misses, and it's going to affect us in terms of the inability to spread minutes about. So really, really disappointing from that perspective. I felt that we were a bit susceptible to their press throughout the game. They were very good at it, as I've said, but yeah, we could have been better. And again, maybe just that sharpness, maybe just showing a bit more energy and being a bit more clinical. And you can relax into the game, and you can take things in your stride a little bit later on. But let's get in, let's do things properly. Let's really establish ourselves in the game. And then let's worry about how we look when we've got the ball at feet, or when we're doing things. You could see actually, just in terms of the quality of their press, Solanke, who did really well and his hold up was okay. He had his pocket pick many times. Actually, they read him really well. They didn't try to body him or to take the ball just on first contact. They actually allowed him to take the ball, bring it down, bring it across, and then as he was trying to move with the ball, that's when they would just nick in and poke it, and that happened several times across the game. So again, really, really good from Qarabag's point of view. They've done their homework and they figured it out, and they did really well on that one. I think we scored at a very good time. If you look at the sending off, and then fairly soon afterwards we make the change. Obviously, really disappointed for Berryval that we didn't get to see anything out of him during the game. Udogi came on and had a very good game, but we scored at a really good time. So, you know, kind of 5 minutes later, I think it was, we go up the other end again, the press, and we get the ball, play nice ball in from Solanke to Johnson. This time he decides to use his side foot, which is a perfect finish for that. It's a much easier technique just to guide it first time and put it in towards that second post. So exactly the same area that he scored against Coventry, but this time using a different technique. And it's really nice to see that ball was there to be taken first time, and it's an easier technique just to open out your side foot on your stronger foot and kind of send it back the opposite way. Goalkeeper had no chance. Really nice finish, and delighted, continue to be delighted for Johnson, and long may it continue. There are going to be games when he doesn't score goals, of course there are, but he is contributing and he's doing it in the best possible way. So hopefully this is the start of great things to come for him. He will have peaks and troughs, but let's get behind him because he is a fantastic lad. I think he's a very good player as well, and there's nothing to say that he can't go on a bit of a run in terms of improving his decision making and the final action when it comes to that right hand side when he's involved. The next goal from a set piece is worth talking about. Sarr with a lovely finish, nice delivery from Decky into a good area, I think. And again, kind of watching it live, I think Ben Davies either comes in or he backs in. I can't remember. I've got a recollection of him coming round the goalkeeper and bringing the defender with him and just providing a bit of an obstacle, because it doesn't look like the goalkeeper gets a clean kind of hand to the ball as it's going over. That's really nice. Obviously, it's good to see it being used by us when it's used so frequently against Vicario. And Sarr peels away. You can see him peeling away from kind of at the start of the delivery, which is exactly what you want in that situation, unless he actually thinks he's going to be the one that heads it. But he takes the flight of it, realises it's going to drop into the middle of the 6-yard box, and starts pedalling away, because that's exactly what you want. And he is in exactly the right place to send the ball back where it came from. Again, nice technique. Uses his side foot, doesn't try to smash it in with his laces. Just gets a really solid contact on the ball, and that's exactly what you want, because the defender can't react quick enough. I think it kind of ricochets in between his legs and goes in. So yeah, nice movement, nice interference from Ben Davies, good delivery, and then a good finish. That's what you want from a set piece. So really nice to see that. After that, kind of chronologically, we come to the penalty. And again, yes, probably was a foul. Yes, this should probably not be going in with that particular challenge. It looked to me like the player was moving at a slight diagonal away from goal. I think he'd have had a really hard time on his left foot, kind of trying to hit that goalwards and beat Vicario from there. So for me, once they've worked that position and got in there, which we should have done a bit better on the triangle on the edge of the box, the 1-2 on the edge of the box, you feel like Biss, just run that inside line, run that line, make sure that you're there. If he tries to turn back or provide a ball coming backwards, you're covering all of that, and then you can really start to press him and physically get tight to him as he's moving away. I'm not sure it needed the sliding tackle. It was always dangerous. The player does exactly what he should do. Is he realises it's coming, he puts his right leg across, and I think there's a touch, right? I think Bissouma does catch him on that leg before he gets through, and then kind of scoops the ball. So either way, maybe harsh. He definitely gets plenty of the ball, but it's probably a foul, and therefore you give the referee no choice. It's a foul inside the box, penalty. We get a bit of good fortune. which again, I think Qarabag, a little bit more quality up front, they would have caused us a lot more problems last night. So we need to be thankful for that. The Vicario had nothing to do. I think he clips it off the top of the bar. And we've got away with one there, because that could certainly have shifted the momentum. In that very fact, it did affect us psychologically. I felt that for that kind of 5 to 8 minute period, again, after conceding the penalty, we start throwing the ball out too quickly, playing out too quickly, not playing out with quality. We didn't secure possession of the football, and we invited them on. Again, their press working really well, and we looked all over the place. Even though we did manage to generate a good chance in that time, it's that side of things where it's very frustrating as a fan to watch it, but you do also understand that this is a young or young-ish team, and they really are going to have to learn as a group. They're going to have to understand when to play quickly, and when playing attacking football doesn't necessarily mean rushing to get the ball out. So if you've just conceded a penalty, got away with it, if you've just conceded another chance where you've had your pocket picked and they've had another shot, think about it. Think about how you're going to play out. Secure possession. Be really, really sure. I just think that we didn't do that. And so that is the kind of thing that, from a mentality point of view, we are going to have to improve, and that will come with time, especially if they're given time, and this group of players are given time playing together. So I really do want to see that. I've seen too many occasions where, you know, the game can start to move against us, and it turns so quickly, and we seem just unable to then play our attacking football, which means the ball is continuously coming the other way, and we're giving up really high percentage chances. So we can do a bit better with that as well. After that, we obviously come to another great bit of play from Solanke. The press in the middle of the field, he's dropped in, he's working tirelessly, and he manages to get the ball. He plays it out, and then, you know, we end up getting through to having a chance, which is good. I'm a little bit concerned. There was one move in the second half I was a bit concerned with. Again, Mickey van der Ven maybe falling asleep. It was a relatively simple. There's no pressure on the ball in the inside right channel, and then it was built up from their right back and down the right, and fairly innocuous looking, but Mickey just goes to sleep, and there's a really, really easy ball in behind Ben Davies that Van der Ven's very, very late onto, and he gets across but doesn't get on the cover, and they smack it, I think, off the base of the post. So little details, little bits and pieces. He had the Brian Mbumo goal in the first 30 seconds on the weekend, and then he's got the same thing, just a little lack of concentration. So yeah, at centre half, you've got to make sure that you deal with that for 90 plus minutes. But otherwise, he was excellent. Obviously, doing Mickey van der Ven things, getting in with his pace, winning the ball back when the ball was played through. And in fact, there was one very nice example of it where he took responsibility for the ball. He won it back, took responsibility in our own penalty area in the second half, and then they played a very nice little system getting out with Archie Gray. And then just that final ball from Archie, probably missing to get us out beyond the midfield line, but very nice. The third goal was a nice ball by Ben Davies. So clips a slightly longer ball. Sarr had stayed high. He points, he wants that ball. Davies played it, and in fact he played quite a few throughout the game. Kind of clip balls over the top. He's got good quality with that kind of clip ball. And yeah, Sarr brings it under. Decky comes in, plays a nice little first time pass, just keeps the flow of the move. So instead of taking a touch and then assessing what he was going to do, Decky knocks it first time as it's cut back to him. He knocks it first time out to Son. Son has the shot. Keeper doesn't cover himself in glory, but Dom Solanke gets the spin off the defender, and he's exactly where you would want him to be in terms of a shot coming from left to right and where the keeper is most likely to put it. Solanke is in exactly the position you want, and it's really, really hard to defend. the best that a defender could possibly do, if they're lucky enough to be in that position, is kind of either knock it out for a corner or desperately lunge in, and that can lead to the ball going anywhere. So he's done really well, and he gets the tap in, and he deserved that for his hard work throughout the game. More positives. Vicario, I thought, had an excellent game. He did the things that he's best at. So he had one flappy moment in the second half that led to a corner, but other than that, he saved some really, really decent efforts, particularly one tipping it over his bar from a shot outside the box. That's the stuff that he is absolutely fantastic, and arguably he's up there with the very best in the Premier League. So delighted to see him doing that kind of stuff. He didn't have to really deal with the high ball during this game, and he didn't have a save to make from the penalty. So he deserves a lot of credit. And in the first half, he had a fantastic action where we've made a bit of a mess of it at the back, and their striker's running on the ball, but he's off his line quickly. He's decisive, which is great to see, and he's obviously got those long limbs, and he goes in, his really nice tackle, stretches out his left leg, wins the ball nice and cleanly, and plays it. So I was delighted to see that. And there was one other moment as well. For once, the Qarabag striker doesn't put on a full press. So Vic has the ball at feet. He's moving to his left-hand side. And if the Qarabag striker had really gone for him, I think Vicario might well have given that ball up. But he didn't. And Vicario was really patient. He assessed his options. And you can see the technical quality and why he is good, or he can be good at playing out from the back, because he'll play off both feet. With his left foot, he just shapes one into the channel, and he gives Solanke a chance to get there. So Solanke wasn't there, but the way he shaped it, the way he put it, he put a single bounce on it, so that when it arrives at Solanke, it's easier to deal with. And it was a nice pass. You could see he had no other options. But he put it into a space, and then Solanke made it a good ball for him. So that's really nice to see. That's good understanding, and that's two players kind of working with each other and helping each other out. So that was really good to see. So Vicario deserves lots and lots of credit. We had a disallowed goal in there, and I'm sure, I haven't had time to look at social media, but I'm sure people will be complaining that we've given up a goal from, or given up a chance from a ball being crossed in, and a header. But it's irrelevant, because what is done really well is the holding of the line. So the players get out, they hold the 18-yard line, and they do it well. And that is what leads to Qarabag, who are just a bit lazy in their build-up play. They get caught. And that's exactly what you want. That's really good defending. So it doesn't matter what comes in after that, because if you've done the first bit right, then you've got them in a position where they're offside, and therefore it's not going to be a goal. And everything that then happens after that is largely irrelevant, because you did that first bit really well. Now, if they'd been onside and you then roll that on, you'd want to look at certain things. You'd want probably Doggy to be getting back in there with a bit more pace, but it doesn't matter, because they've done the first bit right, and that's really good to see. So they deserve the praise for that bit and for the defending they did. They're very, very good at holding that line, and it worked. And the ball coming across was irrelevant because they were offside. So really good to see. Overall, as I said, I think we can take the positives out of it. It wasn't a wonderful performance, and we should all feel ecstatic about winning the Europa League in 2025. But I think that we take it for what it is we made it hard for ourselves by one individual going to sleep and getting himself sent off, but we put on a performance, we scored at good times. And there are elements of our game that look really good, and if I start to look at things generally, I'm starting to feel quite positive about what we can do this season, just in terms of, I think we're going to win many more games than we won't, because the press is working. Players are starting to score goals. Key individuals are contributing in the areas that they should be contributing. Remember, we didn't need to bring on James Maddison tonight for creativity, because we scored goals at good times and we got ourselves over the line, which has been lacking. So yeah, if you look at the press and you look at the fact that we got a clean sheet, however you get there, and that we're getting the points and we're winning the game, all of these things are signals that even with the challenges we've got with the early season injuries and the fact that, you know, the minutes are racking up on some players. I certainly felt like Son looked like the minutes are racking up on him. I've felt that from the week before. These are positive signs that we're going in the right direction, and hopefully get a few more players back, get a few more available first teamers who can be out there and share out the minutes. Then it's looking quite good. I know some people probably a bit frustrated that Mikey Moore didn't get a bit more time on the pitch, and he wasn't the natural change when Sonny came off, but again, he had one very nice action down the left hand side. He doesn't look like he's the quickest when you bring him up to this level. He's always looked very good when you watch him at youth level. He runs away from players, and he's very strong at that level. But yeah, he doesn't look like he's going to be the quickest. So it's all about technique and movement and touch, and you know how he's going to play in those respects. And yeah, he had one nice little opportunity, and yeah, hopefully the minutes keep coming. We feel for Berryval. He didn't get the minutes this time, but that is not something that could have been foreseen. So anyway, delighted, happy with the points, bank those. Man United coming away next. Difficult game. Both sides obviously played in Europe, so both sides are going to be tired, but they have had an extra day. So that, plus the fact that it's at home, bit of an advantage to them, and the fact that, you know, we've got that kind of mounting number of minutes going through a very small group of players. Legs is another thing for us to consider, but no reason why we can't go up there, given the way that they're playing and their inconsistencies at the minute. Go up there, play a good attacking game, don't give the ball up easily, and then keep that high press and high intensity going. There's no reason why we can't go up there and get a positive result. So looking forward to it. Been quite a long video, so I'll let you go. But yeah, let's have a great end to the week, a great weekend, and hopefully we get a win against Man United on Sunday. Thanks everybody. Speak to you soon.